Even one of the friendly reporters the defense secretary now takes questions from at his briefings noticed that Donald Trump has completely capitulated on his demand for unconditional surrender by Iran.
On the seventh day of the conflict, in a Truth Social post, the president said, quote, "There will be no deal with Iran except, all caps, exclamation mark, unconditional surrender." What happens to that pledge to the Iranians? And when did the president decide to capitulate on his demand for unconditional surrender?
Well, James, I wouldn't. You started out nicely, but you ended exactly where we knew you would end. The president hasn't capitulated on anything. He holds the cards.
Leading off our discussion tonight is Democratic Senator Adam Schiff of California. He's a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senator Schiff, unconditional surrender means you're not negotiating anything. And here's Donald Trump every day, basically publicly begging Iran to negotiate something with him.
Lawrence, he's really demonstrated that he's a weak and incompetent president, and even weaker in the course of this war. He started out, as you just pointed out, with this declaration that Iran was going to have to unconditionally surrender. Even now, Hegseth claims that we hold all the cards, and yet the president orders ships to escort to other vessels through the Strait of Hormuz, and we get fired upon. And the president says, no worries, that doesn't upset the ceasefire, just pretend it didn't happen. And imagine this, Lawrence, I find this to be the most striking part of it. Saudi Arabia, for all that this administration has done in every way catered to Saudi Arabia tells the administration that it may not use its airspace to escort these ships through the Strait of Hormuz. This is why that escort operation came to a rapid halt. The weakness of the administration, the weakness of this president, that the Saudis would feel empowered to say no to the use of our vessels, the risk to our sailors, to escort ships, including those carrying Saudi oil. It's breathtaking. But Iran now feels empowered. It feels like the clock is ticking on its side. It feels the president is desperate for a deal. You hear the president talking about a deal, basically, that sounds a lot like the deal that Barack Obama struck that he so ridiculed. And he wishes to distinguish it somehow by saying, no, this deal will be different because in this deal, Iran promises not to develop a bomb. Well, I guess that's really something. We can now rely on Iran's word. So we are just seeing, as you said, the president having trapped himself, growing weaker and weaker, and sadly, he has also trapped the country, and we're paying for it. Prices are now 50% higher at the pump. And Donald Trump said today that if they went up another 50% and we're paying double, that it would be worth it. Well, I don't think the American people feel this is worth it at all.
And of course, in that deal negotiated by Secretary of State John Kerry for President Obama and 5 other countries, Iran did in writing promise to never develop a nuclear weapon. They've already put it in writing, and Donald Trump, who obviously never read a word of that agreement, just ripped it up. And now is begging to please put that agreement back together.
It certainly sounds that way. And unfortunately, even if we went back to the JCPOA, Iran now feels that it has the leverage because it can shut down the strait. And any threat that it might shut down the strait, for example, if it doesn't abide by any deal struck with President Trump, in the future, and the president threatens to snap back sanctions, which is basically the same mechanism as under the Obama JCPOA, Iran can threaten, well, if you snap back sanctions, we're going to close the strait. And that now is a powerful threat that really wasn't the case before this ill-considered and unlawful war. So tragically, I think this regime is emerging more powerful, at least it feels it's more powerful, more entrenched, more hardline, more of a threat to its own people. It's the result of entering a war without thinking about the consequences and conducting it incompetently, and the fundamental weakness of this president.
Senator Adam Schiff, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Lawrence.